Here I am in a hustle, baby. Oh, I'm live. Shout out to the replay gang, to the people that are here. National Geographic put out a good article I think you should read. What is the title? Orange Skies of the Future. Prepare yourself. So let's start with last Wednesday. Also, shout out to the replay gang, to those people that are active, that are about, that see this later on. Last week, the sky was falling. The world was ending. A post-apocalyptic New York City. It looked like something out of Escape from New York, or one of those end of the world movies. Whatever you want to say. It was interesting last week. There's a lot of photos of what was going on, wildfires and all the smoke and toxicity coming over from Canada. We all right. Hope the people over there in Canada all right. But it was something interesting in the National Geographic article that they were talking about, when they were saying prepare yourself for this being the future as far as global warming, wildfires, all type of environmental changes that are coming. And I encourage you to read the article. I left a link in the description. After this live stream is over, you could read it, find out what they were saying in the National Geographic. But the reality is that our climate is getting warmer. Things are changing. It is becoming an interesting time as far as weather is concerned. I don't know if you believe in climate change. I don't know if you care about climate change. I don't know what your thoughts are. But the reason I talk about this today is because it's something that affects us all, regardless of what your viewpoint or what your stance is on it. It's kind of interesting because some people don't know what the cause is. And I guess if I'm to say anything, is to be informed. It's to be abreast. And I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes I'm in my own world. Sometimes I'm just doing what I'm doing, not even thinking or worrying about, what's what, just like aloof, oblivious to what's going on. And I encourage people, no matter what you got going on, to just look your head up, peek around in this environments. It's like I tell, coworkers on my job, the people I supervise, situational awareness. Be aware of the environment around you. Be aware of what's going on or what's happening. Even, if it's politics, if it's the environment, different socioeconomic changes that are happening, because these things affect us. They affect people we care about, folks we love, things that we do. Like I was looking at something online. One guy was talking about how, Florida gets in the middle of a hurricane, how the power goes down and you have to have generators and people panic and things happen, as far as, a whole city, a whole state could be shut down, in the middle of an environmental crisis. And I'm not saying this to scare people. I'm saying that when changes happen in life, in society, in the world, in the environment, be aware, and a lot of times we're so stuck in our phones, or we're so stuck in, whatever pursuits that we have, that we don't take the chance to see or take the time to see what's happening around us. Just look, just wipe your eyes a little bit. Just, look out the window, read a newspaper or online article or places where you have trusted news sources, and find out, what's happening in the world today, because a lot of times we shut ourselves off, or we segregate ourselves, or we put ourselves in positions where we're not really paying attention to some of the damage that we do to the environment. We as people, with the, electronics we use, with the emissions from our cars, with the waste that we put out there. What's going on, y'all? It's Poet. It's always a pleasure to see you, my brother. Always a pleasure to see you. And like I said, this is the only planet we got. It's not like we got another one. Some people think they're going to Mars, but I've said this, and this is my take, and I stand on what I'm about to say. All you folks that think you're going up to Mars, you're going to find you a place, you're going to be good there, hey, God bless you. You keep it moving to Mars, and you go to the red planet, and you think you're going to do whatever you do with that society. We haven't figured it out here on this planet. I'm not going with you yahoos up to no other planet where there ain't no laws, there ain't no society, ain't no government, ain't no rules. It's basically the wild, wild west up there on another planet. So I'll be all right here on this planet Earth, right here. I'll live and die, on Earth, or like Pac said, live and die in LA. I'll live and die on Earth. I'll do that. But, that's my rant or my little soliloquy on Mars. You can rewind that back if you want to hear every word that I said on that, but that's just my take. I'm not going to Mars, I'm good. Unless you're going to kidnap me and take me up there, even then still, I'm going to try to lead a rebellion back to Earth. But enough with the science fiction. Yeah, pay attention to the environment because there's a lot of freaky things going on. I made the take, and this is my take, maybe somebody steals from me. I say we don't even have seasons anymore. We just have like cold and hot streaks because I don't know if people ever notice it. I mean, like we're in the middle of June right now, and we haven't hit 190 degree yet, and 190 degree day yet in June, and we're like literally in the middle of June. It's been 80 degrees, 60s, 70s, whatever. The weather is funny. The winter is warmer than normal. The summer is not as hot as it should be. And then there's snow in certain places that you normally don't see snow. And, there's all kind of stuff happening. I mean, I don't know what you feel about climate change. A lot of people don't believe that climate change exists. But something's going on in the world. I tell people, if anything, take the time out to educate yourself. Take the time out to find out why things are happening or what's going on. Like one of the things that I looked at years ago, the sea stars over there on the West Coast, the sea stars or the starfish, I'm forgetting the words. Basically not the ecology, but the sea life at the bottom of the sea, how they're dying off because of the environment being polluted. And, even out in Maine or certain places on the, far east, back where I'm at, on the East Coast, the sea life or the crustaceans are dying out because of pollution in the water. And you need those because a lot of those sea creatures or, seafood and stuff that we eat, they help to clean the ocean. And when you don't have certain sea life down in the clean ocean, then it affects the ecology or the environment and the pollution in the water, which is the water that we essentially drink and have to be filtered out. That's why you see us a lot of times we have to drink so much filtered water and ionized water and the smart water and sensual water and the pure water and the water on top of the pure, like whatever, So we find ourselves having to use so much genetically modified organisms or water or whatever it is. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a scientist. I'm not well versed in this stuff, but you know what I'm talking about. For those people, that want to be, anal, for lack of a better word, on my facts or try to fact check me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't get crazy with me if you ever watch this back and be like, oh, you should have did more research and you should have came out and said this, and the third. You know what I'm talking about. But the point is, do your research as I need to do. Find out what's going on in your environment. Be aware of how you affect the environment. And that's what this is about. Even myself, be aware how I affect the environment. I live in a city in New York City where, pollution is a problem. People, take stuff like, let me stop saying, people take, like, let's say I have a wrapper. I'll show you, for instance, I'm eating this. I take this and I throw the wrapper on the street, or I have a drink. I take the drink, instead of me putting it in the trash, I throw it on the street, or I leave it in the seat somewhere. And I seen a kid do that one time. I was on the train and I was going to work and I was so disappointed in this young kid. He's sitting there drinking some soda, and he's drinking it. And then he kind of like sneakily puts it in between his legs, gets up, leaves the soda, right? Not, like still like almost full, like half full, and walks away as if it's nothing. And then when you see stuff like that, you say to yourself, oh, okay, I get why the environment is more polluted than ever. I get why we would have climate change. I get why we would have to have less cars on the road and we would have to find different ways. Like, it's kind of crazy. During the pandemic, people don't realize that because people weren't out and about, the environment cleared up and there was less pollution out in the world. But the reality is that, people are not going to stay in the house, forever. People are not going to be conscious of the environment. People are not going to always do what they're supposed to do when it comes to the environment. They don't think about how it affects, us or the future generations. But the reality is the things that we do today, unfortunately, it does affect future generations. And I guess the question I got to ask is, what type of world do we want to leave, for the kids? What type of shape are we willing to leave the world in? And that's something to think about. You know, do you want to leave the world in a better place than you found it? You know what I'm saying?